Persona 5 is a game from 2015, a game I never got to play because I didn't have PlayStation 3 or PS4. In 2020, I started to save up money to go and get a PS4, and right when I got it, Persona 5 Royal came out. What is basically a remaster and 50% new game from the original Persona 5. It was almost like it was destined to be. And now that I've spent 160 hours on the game and finished it completely, I can wholeheartedly say this is my favorite game of all time. This is how Persona 5 Royal stole my heart. Talk gushing, I'm going to go over the negatives, what I don't like. It's really only mainly one plot point. The entirety of the Okumura Palace. It just did not work for me. That entire fight with Organa was just kind of dumb. Haru just feels shoved in. She feels more shoved in than Kasumi and Maruki. And the entire palace is just such a drag. And then even the boss battle, which apparently Royal fixed a lot of problems with Persona 5 while also adding a bunch of new stuff, which I cannot say if it did or did not because I never got to play Persona 5. But by the sounds of it, they really made this boss battle so much worse, and it was really awful. The only good thing is what results right after you beat the boss. And from this point onward, there's going to be major spoilers for the entire game. That includes Persona 5, along with Royal. Okumura's death is such a turning point, and it just starts off with it being probably the second best arc in this entire game. Sai's Palace, it's absolute perfection. And the twist. They just had twist after twist in this, and it is so glorious. But it's really unfortunate the Okumura Palace in general just sucks. Easily my favorite part in the entire game that stays consistent is the music and characters. The characters are just out of this world. They're almost all fleshed out really well. Even the new additions like Maruki and Kasumi are so well handled. I'll get to Maruki a little bit later, but Kasumi or Sumeru's arc is heartbreaking and really pays off. And I just love how I ended up really liking Ryuji, even though I thought he was kind of annoying at first. I really grew on him, and man, he was probably the character that I was really afraid was gonna die, and I'm so happy he didn't. Anne was maybe the second most boring girl, but she's still really great. I love her, like, unlocking her persona, fighting back from Kamoshida, one of the best villains in the game. Probably up there with Futaba and Ryuji's. So good, I love Ron. I love Futaba, even though everyone thinks she's annoying. I really like her as a little sister, and she can be pretty funny. And I think her palace is very sad, and it's one of my favorite palaces story-wise. Design-wise, it's not that great. Yusuke is probably my least favorite of the Phantom Thieves, besides maybe Haru. Haru, I've already said, just feels so forced in. I didn't really like her that much. Same kind of goes with Yusuke, but he's better at least. Makoto, or Makoto, I don't know how to say it, is probably my second favorite girl. Her internal battles on whether the Phantom Thieves are right or wrong is really interesting, and such a nice change of pace from everyone else. And of course there's other characters like Kawakami, Sai, especially Kawakami. I love how her story goes. Goro Akechi is easily one of my favorite characters in the game. He is psychotic, and I love his twists. And even after he's brought back in the third semester, he's still psychotic. Even though he does help you, and in that, he really just gets fleshed out. You really sympathize him with Shido, and he kind of redeemed himself in the third semester. The music is some of the best video game music I've ever heard, besides maybe Final Fantasy VII Remake. Stuff like I Believe, Life Will Change, Swear to My Bones, oh my lord. All of it is just amazing. I love it all. The stylistic gameplay really captivated me immediately after playing that brilliant first level, and it stayed that way throughout the whole game. One of the new additions were the show times, which are hit or miss for me. When they miss, they're really not good, like Makoto and Haru's. But when they hit, oh my god, are they bloody phenomenal. My favorites are easily Ann and Yusuke's, Makoto and Ryuji's, and Joker and Akechi's. The last one being one of the best cutscenes I've ever witnessed. Speaking of which, the final battles with the God of Control and Maruki were incredibly intense, and have the best payoffs ever. I didn't think they could top Be Gone, but the entire sequence to finally beat Maruki, ending with checkmate, is come-worthy. After finishing the game, I felt satisfied. I almost never feel satisfied with an ending to a game. Even a game I like, for example Spider-Man PS4. When I finished it, I felt dissatisfied. Maybe it was because of the lackluster DLC, or the fact that I finished the entire game in 2 weeks. Possibly both. But with Royal, I felt content. Sure, I was sad. I still am to an extent. But am I still happy with the ending itself? Yeah. You can be happy, sad, or mad at the ending to anything. But what matters is if you're satisfied with it. I wasn't left wanting more. I wasn't left bored. It felt like it all ended perfectly. The only thing was that post-credit scene that not even I will spoil. It left me intrigued. Sometimes I'll just think about the beginning of my playthrough, back when it was just Joker, Ryuji, and Ann. I miss it. I wish I could wipe my mind and play it all again. That's what an ending should do. Something I love is how this game tackles societal themes, mainly with the God of Control with religion, on how it can corrupt people, abuse, sexual manipulation, and not letting others control you. And of course the question, do you want to live the ugly truth or a beautiful lie? Speaking of which, let's talk about the third semester and Takedo Maruki. Alright, this is the big one. Let's begin. The third semester is where everything about this game becomes utter perfection. The story and characters are at their best in this arc. What I love probably the most is Maruki and his mindset. His actions are 100% justified, and in a way, he's doing something amazing. He's not trying to hurt anyone, he's trying to help everyone. Like it's said in game, some people could very much benefit from his reality. With that also said, this still makes Maruki the antagonist, because it ties into the themes of the game. Adults forcing their ways on other people, the idea of rebellion, the idea of becoming your own person. In this arc, the Phantom Thieves chose to choose their own reality. They're growing up. No kid wants their life to be written out like a script they have to follow, and in no way can you escape the hardships of life. Maruki tries to counteract both of these, which is his biggest flaw. Maruki is one of the best antagonists I've ever seen. Not because he's scary or powerful, but because he's real. Everyone should have the right to choose their path for themselves, no matter what happens. No one can go through life without anything going wrong. Those misfortunes end up helping us. We can grow from them, bounce back, and be better. Sure, it may take a while, but it's life. This is basically Sumeri's character arc. In the end, Maruki realizes this, and he understands, even if you mess up, you can work to try again. You can learn from the hardships and be a better person. This is why the third semester is bloody perfection, in every way possible. And that is how Persona 5 Royal stole my heart.